37. Yeah, because at 37 we come out and went to work out the mine out there.
I gotta hold the switch here, so it won't work. So you have to push down the switch.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
How you doing, kiddo?
Pretty good. How you doing?
Fine. Yeah.
They just told me some disgusting piece of news. They're going to babysit tomorrow night.
Huh? Who you got? Me?
I told Tom, I said, we extended that patio out. I said, boy, if we could get somebody over here and drop canvas around there, we could have another New Year's Eve party.
Yeah, one New Year's Eve they've got real nice cement patio now. And one year they enclosed it.
Yeah,
How in the heck was that
up
you
there
did?
northern Minnesota.
Plastic clear up to the back
Snow,
door.
there was snow about
Got
6,
pretty
8
cool
inches
for there
of
was
snow on the
too far
road.
below.
We kept dancing and we kept warm.
We got down
And we had
underneath
these
there,
burners
took
out in
them
it,
off,
the oil
and the
burners.
bag
that
was
did warm
gone,
it up.
so
very well.
we had bacon and stuff to eat and all, so I just told them, let's cut some of that bacon.
We had the best
right off.
dance.
No,
Was that? That's not the one where somebody stuck their finger in the cassette. You had the
we did that. We got as
used
far
the
as
cassettes one
I think
time.
that was in the summertime.
Yeah.
I
I thought since boy, I still don't understand how in the world they managed to mess that up.
Yeah, we're down in Newport, and there we did it over again. Then we got inside of a building,
It's
see?
terrible.
And
But you had an amplifier, and then they had the music, so we had the music right out there.
A pit, see? I asked them if we could drive it in there and want to do some work under it. They took the plan off and put
We didn't have a dance this fall at all.
hide that bacon right in all of the
Every
bags.
time I thought about the weather was
Well, then we
bad,
went
or
down,
worried about the weather.
Yeah.
How far did we go that time before we found another engine?
We went down the lake where we stayed on the lake.
I forget what
In,
that.
was it Labor Day weekend or?
Well,
It was down there.
That's one of the weekends we had anyway.
What they call it, a big fork, not big fork, but
And on down.
Grand, Grand Rapids. no,
That must have been a real nice trip.
Down through Oak Creek.
Well, anyway,
Ooh, it was pretty.
then we got down, we went to Hibbing, see, and I had a cousin there
Yes, he
that
did.
married a fellow
That's
that
really
had the
beautiful.
Chevrolet company agency there, see, so.
Don and Marie have
we'll
one
get down
too
there
now, so
while
they
we'll-
just
we'll
pack up
buy
and go,
another car.
sleep in the
I'll get
camper.
another car, see.
So,
We
She
get
was
down there.
telling Don
and I
gave her
think
20
the
minutes
boys
to
were
pack and
riding
get ready to
together,
come to Las
that
Vegas
motor,
this
see. Well, now let's
And
just
they
get
hadn't
back
used the
there for,
camper since last summer sometime, and of course it was dusty,
half a block away, we walked
She
over
didn't
there.
appreciate that.
So, walked in there and of course glad to see him and everything, he's glad to see me and I said, Earl, if you got a real good used car, I can buy it. And he said, oh, we got a lot of them back in here. He said, just go back and pick yourself one out. So
What you doing
me
besides
and Tom
mothering
went back
these
in there and
days?
we found a Chevy, 6-cylinder Chevy, about a
She
19.
sold that outfit she's
Chevy.
got on.
Pretty new it was, about a year old, I guess, wasn't it?
She sold the kids Christmas dresses.
And after Christmas, I'm planning on
Anyway,
doing a lot
why,
of reading. I've been stacking up history books
I said,
and
by God, that's a good one right there.
stuff like that. I'm gonna.
Had a price on it, I think
You know what I got for
$280,
Christmas
something
that
like
really
that, 300,
surprised
something
me?
like that.
Annette crocheted me
And,
that.
so he said, well, what do you got?
Wonderful.
You got something to
And
trade in?
that,
I
the
said,
ripple
well,
pattern.
I said, we got an old car out here. I said,
Who in the world taught her how to crochet
Had
that
to
well?
keep up the class and learn.
Jerry
made Well,
One
he
night I
had,
had to go and
First
uh,
thing she's
I'll tell you that's my
driver here. Take it in on trade.
started everything.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Girls at the office were
Well, I'm getting that, but then race the motor down. I said, just,
Yeah, they go pretty.
How old is Annette now? She's
Rattle like
30.
hell, you know?
That's her.
And
So he went out and drove it in, it was rattling the thing out, you know. Early he was smiling. He said, it don't run too good, does it? I said, oh, I did pretty good. I said, well, you come clear down here. And I think you get it $50. And,
Corey.
so then we packed all our stuff out of that and then put in the other one, and boy, it run like a top, man, that was a nice. real
Oh,
good.
really?
Well, you can really enjoy them when they,
Yeah.
Then we
so
went
darn
to work
good.
out here
When you take them one at a
in
time.
Yeah, always.
Molybdenum of mine south here,
They
about
don't have
50
that
miles out
sibling.
from Good Springs. We,
Right.
him and I
And they
got a
don't
job out
keep
there.
wasting time checking on each other to see what the other's doing.
They're all winter.
Are you doing your
He
share?
worked all winter there. And then in the spring-
If you're not, I'm not.
Oh, gee.
Yeah.
Twila's got 4 granddaughters. You got 4 granddaughters from Mary Lou.
Yeah, 11 grandkids.
Yeah, all together.
Well, I think about every fall I used to go back there when
Ah.
Mother and Dad was back there on the farm. They had
That's
a,
about a
they went
roadrunner.
back there to
Is it
kind
where the
of,
Roadrunners
they
live?
couldn't make,
Where?
get the farm fixed up so they
I
could
think
sell
they live in New
it.
Mexico.
And we'd been out here for several years then, and they didn't want to stay up there in that country no more. See? Anyway,
Lots of them, aren't there? How many
that
are
was a
there?
pretty good old
Twyla looked at
car
Lenny and
there,
said,
but that was,
"Oh,
Yes. How many?
boy, we was lucky. I think you only paid $50 for it when you bought it here in Vegas, didn't you? 13. We laid out like bandits when that thing.
Like this?
full size?"
Oh, yeah.
And that's a train like you
What
rode
colors?
on, isn't it?
What colors did
Uh,
you?
Yeah.
Red and white and pink and rose, you know, the different shades.
Yeah,
Oh,
I think she
yeah.
bought a kit to make it.
yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Well, she's learned how to do something she can enjoy all her life.
I never did learn to that much. I'm gonna have to start learning something though.
Yeah, we had a.
I got-
a long time.
I got desperate last
Besides
winter.
running around.
I started to make granny squares to make a bisque for Sharon.
But
I haven't put it together yet. I got the squares all made, but I haven't put it together. I was sure I'd have it put together to give her when she
Death
came this
Valley out here, and
this Christmas, but
we got acquainted with him, and so I wanted to
Mary Ann learned to
get
crochet
a job,
too
do
this
something,
year.
come on, he's out here,
got
a job out
crocheted
there,
shawls.
$50 a day, you know. and
boy,
board
you're
and
sitting on
stuff.
top of there.
I
Yeah, that was
kind of
good-
had
that was
left
good
because I
money there
never
at the beginning of
cold,
depression,
I
you
just
know.
go out, you know.
Yeah, I know.
So I
You never
went out
did
there
need a
and-
coat even.
He had a Model T truck,
Everything you got
and
is for
every so
Christmas.
often, about every month, we have to come into Vegas just
Show
about
Twyla
100
your
miles
red shawl and
down
the
there, all
best
that
one
old desert road, and the washboard.
That's what
road.
she's crocheted everybody's Christmas presents this year, on top of sewing everybody's
I
outfits.
had a toothache one day. I got a real bad toothache over on this side. So he said, well, he said, you gotta go and get the tooth pulled. He said, oh, here's a list, and, you know, you can give me $100 or something to buy, gas, a barrel of gas, a barrel of oil, and,
I think we should start
so
with one.
and a lot of stuff, you know. So when I was in, after I got the tooth pulled, I went down and bought all that stuff at,
What's this?
Gene Ward's place, you know.
It's a cactus.
Mhm.
What do you do on
The
the
dentist is right up
You
above
You
there.
just don't touch
You
it.
could get up close to him like Grandpa did once. He bought
Anyway,
into one.
I was
Oh,
all
awful
up, and I got
cactus.
going up there,
Yeah.
In the seat.
and I got about 30 miles.
It's full of
from the
little
ranch, and
stickers,
boy,
so you
I-
never dare
very
touch one.
I
and a flower of
go make a noise, and I stopped right away, and there was a hole in the pan, you know. They had a kind of a flat pan with the dip things in them, you know.
And
There was a hole right
this
through
is
the
Julie's
the
Christmas
dip
gift.
channel in there, you know, and so
Oh,
I had
that's
to
oh,
and everything on, and I took the pan off
Yeah,
out
we
there
were gonna
and
get
it
pictures of them in their
wasn't no way
Christmas
there.
dresses.
And,
Yeah, this is
got
my
that pan
poncho.
off,
This is what I think is
and
pretty.
Oh, yeah.
a nut that's come off of the connecting rod,
Yeah, that's
and
great.
it
Yeah.
drove it right through
Oh, that's
the pan, see? And, so the nut was stuck in the hole. It didn't go clear through, but it was stuck in that hole, see?
crochet.
So
That's knit.
I took the connecting rod apart,
This
and
is mine.
of course it was burnt out. So I had a slab
Last
of bacon,
Christmas, she
and
made
I
one like that in
And
a
I
big
guess
roast
that's
to match
because
her
you-
evening
you
dress.
haven't seen Herb's red vest.
put her in
have
there,
you?
and I just
I was gonna
put it
make
all around
Herb
and I
a matching
clamped her
vest,
real
but I
tight, you
decided
know.
I'd rather have a shawl. But I did finish
tighten
his
her right down, you
vest.
know, and
Did you?
And you
I
got
used
it
the
big
nut
for
to
him.
come off
I'm
and
gonna have
everything. I
to,
got
you know,
started
take-
threaded back on, and I got
Didn't
it
he wear
right
it for Christmas?
Yeah, he
Then I had
looks
to do
all
something
right
about
under a
that whole
coat.
thing.
He wore it Christmas
I had a
Eve.
round punch, see, so I took
Pretty.
this punch and I got the pan over on a
She's
rock
really
and I
used
drove
that
the
red
punch
shawl
down
around
through
here
there
to
and made a
keep
nice
warm,
round
didn't
hole, you know. Then I went and cut a chunk of greasewood,
It is
and
a
I made
fox.
a plug out of the wood
Not a fox.
and flattened it, kind of flared it, you know, like a nail head.
He put it in hot water.
Flared it, but it had to have clearance for the
Put it in
dipper.
hot water.
If the
Well,
dip
it's an
thing
apple,
hit
it's
that,
not.
it fell out.
Yeah.
So I had to get it down flat in the inside of the
Would be
pan,
better.
see?
Anyway.
So I kept driving that down, and I took some wire and
Back.
underneath
the
where the
rib
thing was
back.
sticking
I can
down,
just take
I
the-
took
I'm
wire
gonna
and I
make the
wound it
back
around
smaller.
the wood so it
No,
didn't
just
go
make
back up,
the
you know.
fronts a little shorter.
And I thought, well, I got that,
Would you
I
have trouble
got that
taking
plug
it in?
pretty good,
I
so
don't think so. That'd be a
I opened up the barrel of oil
Well, I
and
have to do the whole
and
back
filled her
over.
full of oil
You
and
do.
started
If I
her
do,
up.
Can't you
and
take it out of the
by
side?
gosh, it sounded
I
pretty
could make
damn
bigger
good, you know,
seams in
so
the sides.
I just went right on into the wreck.
Why
We ran around with it that way for a couple of weeks before we had time to put a new bearing in it.
Anyway.
So I knew that there bacon round would work, see?
Looks like a lot of work to me.
Just to me too.
And I was just a kid. I was just 17 about between 17 and 18 years old.
This
And
looks
stuck out on
real.
the desert there. I had to
That
figure out
looks
how to
really
get myself
good,
out of the jam, you
Who
know?
did you say you made that for?
I
You
was
said?
gonna make it for Susan to wear with her blue jeans.
Yeah. Oh, since then I've done a
But
lot
I
of damn
decided it
things,
was so much work.
Since then I've done a
But
lot
I
of damn
decided
things
it was
that
so much work.
put out a hole.
That she liked it herself. I deserved it.
She wasn't with us.
No, she liked it too well to give it away. But knitting, knitting goes so much slower than crocheting.
Why don't you come over there, put your book on the table in front of Grandpa?
It's so much easier for me to do the crochet and knitting
Yeah, we've
rather
done
than
a
the
lot of
sewing
damn
because
things, all
the
right.
sewing you have to have the pins and the scissors and everything out there and the pins are right on my back the whole time.
made
Now look at the jacket that goes
I had
with
to
this
make a
outfit. I want Twila to see that. I think that looks. She just really did a good job on it.
And I was gonna just take the fan off and stuff a lot of
She's
rags
been
up
so
in
much
there,
where
'cause,
she's
you know,
closed
you
up
can-
there in that
you
apartment
can
so
stuff
much.
it full of rags
She's
and-
got to
and
keep busy
get
with
it
something
caught.
all the time.
And you just stay in one gear and you can go home, you know?
You can sit on that
Even
little
if the
stool
clutch is
that's
tore
here.
clear out, which it was, the center was tore right out of the clutch plate, you know? And I was gonna get in there and stuff it
That's
full
really
of rags
smart.
and start her up and get it stuck.
I have some
Then I would
light
just-
green
Just
material I'm
come
going
home,
to
it's
use to
only
make
about
another
300
outfit.
miles up there.
Oh, that's
And
good.
so
Nothing in between.
all we had to do is just
Some
get
nice
started and
Like a
just
real
go.
See that green certain top.
But there was a friend of mine come up there hunting and he says,
I went
he
last
just tore the
night.
clutch
Oh,
up.
I didn't realize it
And
was
he
two
was going up.
Yeah.
And he said, heck, he said, just he had a brand new truck.
And if you ever run out of work, come
He
over
says,
next time with me.
I'm gonna hunt today and tomorrow. And he says,
That's sewing done.
when I come on out, he says, I'll just pull you in to first town.
Oh, okay. Have you got any more coffee out there?
Set this down and
So,
play waitress for a
but he
minute.
says, I don't wanna pull you with a
You don't
chain.
want
He
to
says, jerk.
You
said,
are
"My
the only
friend,
customer?
And he says,
She's always good.
figure out some
You
way
better
to
ask
hook
some of the
up
rest of
good
them,
and tight,
too.
you know? So I found an old bed frame around that line shack out there and so I took a hacksaw. I always got a lot of stuff along to fix things. I took a hacksaw and I sawed out a couple lengths of the bed
Ted bought a
frame
big
about
jug
that
of
long, and
wine
I
the
built a
weekend
good
after I
fire
hurt my foot,
and
And I don't know what was the idea. I had to have
and, built wings on
He
them.
told,
So they
he
come from
told
truck
the
bumper out
Kay
there.
here that was,
They
supposed to
go
be
together
a
like
treat
that.
for me because I hurt my
But
foot.
I didn't have
But
no
I
way to
couldn't
make a
drink it and I
hole,
couldn't
see?
touch it at
So
all.
What's
I
all
was taking
this?
so many pains
Russ,
I
he
didn't
said,
dare.
how was I
So
know
we
you
saved
can
it for
make,
Christmas.
make
That jug of wine.
Oh, yeah, no,
And
I'm
it
sure
just-
it wasn't
How
gonna
we
taste
gonna
any
get
good, cause
big
it
enough
was,
holes in them so
it
that
looked
we
just
can.
like cheap
We
old
gotta have
wine.
pretty
Probably
good
was
size
cheap old
holes,
wine, but it
like a
tasted.
5/8
Yeah, it
inch
We
does
hole
saved it
taste
for
pretty
Christmas,
good.
and it really came in handy. And
Janet
every
liked
time
it.
Janet liked it, and we all liked it right along with it.
Well, it didn't give me a headache like a lot of
It's probably because it is so weak, you know. I mean, it's
It
not
still
heavy.
tasted pretty good,
Just
you
get
know?
everything back the way I want them first.
It hit the
So
spot.
I didn't tell him what I was gonna do, you know, and when I did it, well, boy, he
So
sure got
between
surprised.
Janet and
I,
Sharon
I
and
took
Kay and I
The
and
ends up in the.
whoever
where
else
I marked
felt
them
like it, why we
where I wanted the holes to be, you know. So then I
went down
I
on that
took
jug every
a
night a
board,
little bit.
I put them down
Who
on the
else
ground,
was it?
and I put a board over them, and I marked the board, and got
What, Christmas
steel
Day?
right
That he
under
enjoyed
the-
that wine. It was Bruce
And I took my 30-06 rifle and I
and
just
Herb.
held it right next to my foot there, and I shoot a hole
No,
through it,
Bertie Carroll-
go right
Carroll
through
Mountain
the,
called
through
you
the
a
steel, you know. And then I'd move over a little bit, and I'd shoot another one, I'd shoot about a ring of
No.
about 4 or 5 holes,
Is
and
she
then I'd have a
selling?
hole that big around. And so I shot holes in the bumper so I could hold it to the bumper. And then I had to have a 3/4 inch hole
I told her one time
the
I
bolt
wasn't too crazy about
for the
it.
crowbar, you know.
Well, I just have got all that I can. I have more now than I
I'm glad she
used.
hasn't got my name and number. Because I've got so much Tupperware now, I don't have places to store it. It's sitting right out, you know.
On the bumper like that, I come out like this, and then they crossed, well, then I had to
I don't know where the books are.
took me about
Oh,
10
that's a regular
shots
children's
to
Bible.
tear out and shoot out a
Hey, do you want to
3/4
lay out a
inch
plate
hole
of
like that.
fruitcake
But
and
I
cookies?
shot her all out and got her all
Do
ready.
you have fruitcake in
Oh,
there?
yes, it's
both
right there in the
around
fridge.
front
Just
end of my
picks up a
truck
nice big plate.
When he come down, he says, God, he says, I'm sorry.
Hey,
He says, I
you're
don't
mentioning
think I can.
something about fruitcake. Did you
He
make
says, I
some too?
can't,
Yeah, I was gonna.
I
bring
can't
one
put
for
in.
Did you
I
make
don't
some of
have
that
any-
kind again that you
I
don't
don't know if I
bake?
got
Yeah,
gas
no
enough to
coke.
get
Yeah, it's
over
just
here
like
to
candy.
Hazelwood.
It was
It's
so
only
good.
about 35 miles.
I made,
And he said,
I
I
made a
might have
double batch
to
and it
bump
makes
some
about
gas from
16
somebody
pounds
to
of
get
fruitcake.
to that
Boy.
station even. I
that
said,
rusty
back her
part
right
of
up
it?
here to the truck. I had 50
We had
gallons of
for
gas
Christmas.
along. I back her right up here. I said, Russ, get the
Yeah, I
hose
got
in
all my
there.
sitting down
So he
jobs
put the hose in the
done
barrel
first
and
this
I
year.
sucked
you
it,
know.
I didn't
run it in
make
his
candy or anything.
truck,
I
filled his
haven't yet
tank up. I said,
either.
how
But
about
I've got all the
that?
stuff to
for
make
gas?"
fudge, and I'm promised the kids I'm gonna
Oh, we don't need any
He
fudge.
said,
I am
"Boy,
gonna
that's
make
all right.
fudge
You
and
know, I'll hook
popcorn
right on."
balls.
So then we,
Taffy, that's what the kids
when you're hooked on
wanted to make.
solid
We
like
didn't get
that,
it done.
you don't
We
need
didn't
a
get it
steer or
done.
nothing. You know, a
They
tow
wanted to have
bar.
a taffy pole.
When you got a tow bar, you don't have
They
to
wanted to
steer
have
the
homemade ice
vehicle
cream,
behind
so
it.
we did that the day we decorated.
And
the
we're
show.
sitting in
We
my
made
truck,
ice
you
cream.
know, and he's going along, and me and Russ are sitting there talking. I ain't got my hand on the
You know,
steering
I
wheel.
know it started quite some time ago, several years
Very
ago.
similar to
But you don't have to have everything done before Christmas. It's kind of fun to spread it out through
We
the
got this at
holidays.
Kmart.
Oh.
The
Stop.
KG got one just like it for
Full of
Ronnie and
like, oh,
Michael
good.
at the
Yeah.
Kmart here. It's very
So
similar.
we come into Pioche and stop there, and I just stop at Pioche at the gas station, and I'll fill you up with gas again, and right out of the gas station rather than
Yeah,
try to
Susan
get it
sent
out
me
of
this
the
for
barrel
my
again.
birthday.
So
They found their, down in
Well, I
that
guess we can get a-
godforsaken small
I'll get
town
a
of
clip
Fair down
right
there in
here.
Alabama, they had a
I
beautiful
can lay
gift
over a
shop.
day or so and put it in, you know.
Kids found that out when they were there
He
last
says, heck,
summer.
he
You
says,
can get
I don't
one
even know
China
you're back
and
there. He
it's
says,
good.
if you want, he says, I'll just
Yeah, they
put
were
you in
down
the
there,
business. So I said,
you know, when
let's
Kay
go.
and Jean went on vacation this year.
Oh, they went down.
We got in,
Yeah,
and
after
then
visiting
we
Jean's
were on
folks in
home here and
Pennsylvania,
everything.
then they went over to
He said, didn't even
Virginia
know I
and
was on
visited
there. That
Sharon
tow
and
bar
Jack,
worked
and
so
Sharon
good,
and
you
Jack
know?
and Kay and
You
Jean
said,
and the kids.
you know, the
And
last
now
time
to
you
see
and I were
Susan
up
and
there in
Rufus
Pioche,
in
they had that
Alabama.
old, that $1 million
So they were
courthouse.
all
you know,
together
they
except
they
for
were tearing
Janet.
it down.
Oh, they were
ready to
fixing
rebuild
it up.
They were fixing it up, huh? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And
Oh,
of
yeah,
course,
that's gonna be
Kay,
there for
girls,
the
if there's a gift shop around, they always look, you know, they're interested in bone china because I've always been, and then Kay loves it.
20-some thousand to build it.
And so they go and look and invest.
Back
Well,
in
against defaults on
1878.
bonds and I don't know what all interest and litigation.
They've all got a little
stuff.
start on
Ran
some
to something
bone
like $1
china
million
now.
Yeah.
before they got it paid off.
Yeah, and it,
Fields.
then
And
they-
it, wonder,
the thing was
she sent it
falling
through
down
the
at the
mail
brick
and
building,
it
you know?
arrived intact.
So they decided to.
Which I thought was a
reclaim it, you know?
miracle.
Many things that
So
you
they
could
went in
hack
there with
and now,
steel.
you know,
They
They
had,
put
yeah, the
steel
way that
beams
thing
and
was packed was
stuff, and they
really,
put the walls
something.
and everything back just like they
even,
were.
packing in
original.
popcorn.
But
Well,
then
they make
got
little
that
plastic
fixed.
stuff
Yeah,
now
that's
that
what
looks like-
it
yeah,
looks
almost
like
like
peanuts.
Yeah.
Uh-huh, yeah, right,
You and I were up
uh-huh.
there.
I saved saved it just in case I want to send some.
Oh, yeah,
China
that's it. We have
or
from
crystal
all
or
kinds
something.
around
Use
this
that
country
somewhere.
here.
Sounds like it. Sounds like
Copy.
it.
Oh, it's a tremendous
Oh, you
part of the
enjoyed
country.
every minute of it, didn't you?
Yes, sir. Yeah, if it wasn't for some of that, that's just as much fun as hunting. You wonder what's gonna happen in the truck next, you know?
Yeah.
Well, you
I
get your
remember
wish
going
every year, something happens.
I remember going prospecting with him up there, him and Howard, and he got stuck in the mud and trying to pull him out. We pulled part of the frame off his truck.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to pull him uphill through the mud, then we got
One of these
pulled him
days
down.
he'll simply have to come walk home, probably dragging it behind him,
I've
and then he
never
might give
walked
up
home
on it.
yet, boy.
That sounds like a girl, doesn't it?
Never had a girlfriend long and never walked home. That was,
That's what I was thinking.
oh, you was, huh?
Never walked home yet.
Oh, gee.
Well, that old truck has been through a lot of things. I got it in 1961, and then what's that, 13 years old now, ain't it?
And it's acting like it too. You sure had to work on it this year.
Oh, yeah, I put new rings in it, new bearings in it.
That's how come the Buick isn't fixed yet.
Rear end.
Found an old truck out in the desert, you know.
I
Same
wasn't
make and
able to get
everything.
out of town.
And it had a
One time I got
Yeah,
out of town was on
good
4th of
rear
July.
end and
Your Wildcat?
good
Yeah,
front end
because
wheels.
it needs a belt
and
job
bushel
like that,
bars,
you
the
know.
whole thing, you know.
And then
So,
on top of that, he got
I
sick.
just proceeded to
In
take all
between the
stuff
car
out I
and him
needed,
being
you know,
sick,
it
so I
was
couldn't
out
leave him
there,
anyhow, and
dumped
he
off the
didn't
bin.
dare go up in the mountains.
Somebody'd already taken a lot of stuff off the
Here I've
Somebody's
been.
probably stolen it and stripped it.
All summer and
Yeah,
fall.
but the stuff I wanted was,
But he
was
fixed
there. I took the whole
the
rear
pickup
end, the housing, everything
go
out of it,
hunting.
you know,
Oh.
and I put it in
No
my
matter
truck.
how he felt, he
But
would work on it.
better than the one I had.
Overhauled. Okay,
Hey,
You
I
know,
got his binoculars.
Annie and
Oh, you
Julie got a
did?
whole bunch of
Yeah.
little baking
The
dishes
bush
and
now with
everything.
the
Oh, them good ones.
From
Yeah,
from different
yeah.
ones. So,
Oh.
they
By
got
golly, yeah,
everything
that's
they
something.
needed for baking, and
Yeah.
then
Girl
someone
watching.
else gave them a set of cake mixes.
There's not
Little-
much in our
little
neighborhood,
cake
I'll tell you.
mixes
Oh.
and stuff. And Jared, remember, Beth was about
Beth
10
got
years
something
old
like that
when,
several years ago.
yeah, but here she's only 3, you know, and she wants to do that.
Oh, and I gave her cookie dough, and she used her little cookie cutters,
Yeah, she
her
made
little rolling pin, and she made
She
her
had lots
these.
of help now too.
Oh, you sure? Yeah.
And Mama burned them. I forgot them in the oven.
Such willpower.
Got a tank for
I don't
it.
even want to hear it.
25 gallons.
What, you got an extra tank? Oh, yeah, you got
Two
that.
extra
Well, that's
tanks,
good.
yeah.
45 gallons gas.
How about Herb over there? Hmm?
Oh, she's got ice for
Fruitcake. Fruitcake.
But if they have fruitcake, you give them a napkin. I was picking up fruitcake
Boy,
off the
how'd you
rug
like
today.
that getting
Almost
taken
got
right out
back
of your
with
hand?
You almost got back.
You're gonna get faster at that, Annie, and you're gonna go hungry or something.
Well,
huh?
she can have it, but just have it on a napkin, you know, because those raisins really get down in the
You do great.
rug.
They do great.
You wouldn't believe it now, but I shampooed this
Yeah,
rug
we
before
got up
everybody
on a-
came.
I believe you should have waited till
Way
everybody
up on
died.
We were 9,000 feet up.
I'll
in
do
the
it
mountain.
again
I
after
had
they
some
go.
like
First day
that
hunting,
just
she thought
on
it
my couch, and I
Be
thought,
safe enough, you know,
well,
because
I
by
should
golly, it
get that
snowed.
cleaned up,
There
know,
you
before-
are.
It snowed
Yeah,
about 2
with
feet
it, I
that
would
night.
have.
It snowed us all in. Everybody in the country was snowed
That's
in.
just another big mess.
No, I don't like it.
Can't avoid it.
So,
I'm gonna try
there was
one of
another fellow with me, had to pause the track.
Come on, let's.
Rear end in his.
Come on, I'll try yours when I see yours.
We'll
I'll try mine.
get out of
Okay.
here, all
I'll
right.
have you make this?
He said we'd get chained
Yeah,
up
she
and everything,
did.
get
Where's
ready.
that happy?
I'll get some napkins.
Pass that back to Twila.
Where's that
So we
happy
chained
piece?
up his truck.
She got it.
I put chains on mine.
There,
and
that
he
next
was
one is
gonna
Stan.
take
That won't
out
hurt
ahead,
you.
You know, and break the trail
Yeah,
out
believe
there.
it or not, I did cut a
He
couple of
couldn't
thin
even get out of
slices.
camp with it. He couldn't even get it going, you know.
That looks really
So I
good.
said, my God,
What'd you use for your
I
base?
thought
I
that was
used
supposed
a
to be
regular
darn good that you could get,
Cake
wouldn't,
recipe, brown sugar,
both wheels
salt,
of full, you
and
don't
eggs.
need to
Except she
worry
puts
about them
jelly
slipping
in it.
on them.
And then I,
He says, well, I don't understand it. He says, brand new
Yeah,
outfit. He
applesauce
says, it
and
shouldn't,
dates.
they said it would just come out of any
a
kind
few
of
figs,
stuff.
not, I tried to put down
So,
on the figs, so we
I said, well,
so much like a laxative.
I'll just shovel out a little bit so I can get around.
Raisins, dark and light, you know,
He said, oh, you ain't gonna get no place.
candied fruit. And I only put just a little
That was
sprinkling
his
of the
truck,
candied
too.
fruit in there because so many people don't
And
like
when it
it.
was
Yeah.
Gives
a
it too
year or so
strong.
old, you know,
And then I put
and
grape
so I got
jelly
around him
and plum jelly.
and I
Orange
said,
juice
well,
in
I
it
said,
with
come on,
dates.
whoever's going with me. get in here with me, so I forget who it was helping us. Got
I
in
think
there with me.
the
I
applesauce and the
took off
dates,
down
you
through
know,
there and
make it moist.
man, the snow was coming over the hood, you know, and of course I had a good load on the back so I could have good weight on it, you know. Man, I plowed clear on out of there, for, about a mile I went through there.
I always remember my
and come out
mother,
on a flat place.
when she would make her fruitcake, she would
Where
use
there
a
was a
pound of
dugway,
short,
a
you
road.
know, on the 40 minutes.
And the snow
And actually I
had
do about the
drifted
same
down,
thing,
about this much
you know.
snow. And we shoveled out as much as we could, but we couldn't get it down.
The only thing she
Mom
used
didn't
to,
really make
And,
a fruit cake.
Eat the rest of
She
it
so-
made like an
first.
applesauce cake.
Here come
Raisins.
forestry outfit with
All these
a
extra things that
four-wheel
we
drive
can,
and chained up
cost too
all
much
four
money.
wheels and they come up there. and
but,
broke
you know,
the
the reason I used plum jelly, because I remember Mom using canned plums. And she'd say, this is for the tart.
But when I seen about that positive
She
traction,
always put a little molasses in hers too, which I don't.
when I seen what that positive
molasses
traction
doesn't
wouldn't
agree with
do,
me too
I
well.
wouldn't have one. Nobody could sell me one of them damn things, you know.
I combine recipes.
And that's what was in
I
this
just
rear end
combine
that I
things.
got
I got
off
two
of that truck
recipes
out
I
there.
use,
It
and then
was
I remember what
positive
Mom
traction, so
put in
took
hers, and
the
then I
thing
put in
apart
things I like.
and I had another,
You know, my
ring
fruitcake's
here
famous
and-
for,
and
you know, with the people we
cluster
know,
gears
because
in
they
there,
all
and
like it and
so I
want
took
it
it
every
all
year.
apart and put
And
throw
I've
that
been
away, and
using
I
what I
put
thought
it
was the
in here.
recipe, but
it
she
wasn't
forgot to
enough.
write applesauce down.
I wouldn't
So all
have got
these,
no-
I've been married 10 years, I've been making
I
it
can put
without
that in there,
applesauce
but
for
plus
10
scratch
years.
it in,
And I
the
just
hell
found
wouldn't
out the
bother
other
with
day
the
she
thing.
uses that in her recipe. So I guess mine isn't authentic.
Well,
It's
what-
supposed to be Mom's fruitcake.
Well, each one, I think, changes things around to suit themselves what they like. Now we're going to have to get Twila's recipe because she has got one she doesn't have to bake,
Oh.
and it's delicious.
Mmm.
You use graham crackers, you
That's the
know,
one
crumble
you
them all up, you
tasted. I
know,
got some over there.
Huh?
Hey.
and orange juice.
Well, you got
and
what?
marshmallows. And that's your base.
Boy.
Really?
Yeah.
You melt that
Oh
all
my
down.
gosh, that should be good.
Now, you
It's
can
like
break
candy.
that right
It's
after
just like a
you
piece
drop
of
that.
candy.
Yeah.
Mmm.
You
I'll
melt
let them stay.
You melt them all together, and you pour your orange
Yeah, they
juice
were
and
really
your
cooked
marshmallows
today.
over your
You don't get out and fight that snow much up there, do you?
graham crackers.
You can
Stuff
help
with your
it.
cherries and candied pineapple.
Oh, is that right?
And you just mix it. I take my hands, you know, because.
I think you ought to go to bed as soon as you're done.
And you
with
just
your
pat it
cooking.
down real hard and refrigerate it for a while.
And that's the only
Huh.
fruit you use in it, is that
You know, I
pineapple
tell
and
you,
the
I
cherries
mentioned
and
that, I don't know, 10
And
years
your
ago.
nuts
nuts.
I don't know if anybody
And
remembers
raisins,
that,
Yeah,
but
raisins.
and raisins.
the snow belt has moved.
Well, yeah, it's interesting there's
South
orange
into
juice
the
in
central
that
part
because
of
I
the-
consider that one of
the
our secret
country goes
ingredients.
south.
Yeah, it takes the
Uh,
orange
the
juice, I
last
think,
8,
in
10
with the
years.
date, so it isn't
And I've
flat.
been noticing it. They've got more
And then I
snow
use the plum jelly
in,
and the grape
like
jelly
in
for the same
Iowa and
reason.
down in through,
It's
Missouri
nice,
and,
it's
and
real
down in
rich.
there and
You
into
know,
Kansas
Oh,
your
yeah.
candy.
than they used to have.
Well, that's the kind you cut in
And
little
it's been
squares,
less
you
up
know.
in Minnesota.
Yeah.
I heard. Up north, and we used to
Lots
have
of
snow
coffee
this
with
deep,
it.
you know that.
Yeah.
Well, it's delicious.
Of course, I
Yeah,
guess
growing up,
coffee
you
and a
should
lot of
have
sweet
every
stuff
place
together isn't
Sure.
a combination, but.
And-
What kind do you make now, Kay?
Well, I quit making it about 3-4 years ago because I finally realized that people I was giving it to
Yeah.
didn't really like fruitcake.
You know, that's what I would do too.
Just
is
had to
I
find
get-
some other friends.
We like it.
Yeah,
But I
noticed
couldn't
that
eat all I made,
snow
you
belt
know,
was moving
and
south.
so I just ended
Just
up
quit doing it.
buying a little one for myself.
Well, Gina's got started giving their fruitcake away.
I know, but he's
to
got
their
instructions. He doesn't give it to
friends
anybody
and
that doesn't
customers.
like fruitcake.
And then they come with different kinds of cake and give it to Gina.
Janet had awfully good fruitcake when we were down
Yeah,
there.
that was Mama's recipe, only I had forgotten the jelly, so it didn't.
Well,
All the alterations stick together very well.
oh, it was awfully good though.
Hey, you know, I buy diet fruit
I
jelly
use a lot
this
of
year
eggs
to
too.
put
I
on.
use 8 or 10 eggs
Tastes
in
a
it.
little candy.
But them snowmobiles are
Don't
kind
you
of
use-
rigged up
I
in
try
that
to cut
country
down
now.
How many
the
eggs
sugar,
do you
you know,
use?
to try to
Well,
cut the calories out as much
You
as
never been
possible.
on?
Fiddled around with your recipe a little bit. I put
Boy,
in
there's a
more
lot of them
of
got
some
them
different
things
kinds
going
of
on.
egg and left out the figs or,
Yeah.
I did some.
And you know, I was surprised that.
Well, I left out the
think
currants this
you
time too because I thought the
can
currants
have
gave
more
it a kind of a
tomorrow.
strong taste last year that I didn't
How about
like.
one more cookie?
So I didn't put any currants in it this year.
Yeah, your fruit cake's really good.
I decided I'd like it rather more on the date loaf and applesauce idea.
Oh, man.
Forget about the figs and
I
Yeah.
know my mother used to make
Oh,
it with an
dates.
applesauce.
That's
But
what I put
make
in
one of
mine,
them
too.
things to go 100 miles an hour, that's terrible, you know, to go in a
That's
little
what I
thing
do.
like
Yeah.
that.
I'll get to the store and think, well, now I'm gonna make my fruitcake, you know.
Mhm.
And I'll write everything down. That's when I got home and I didn't have was the
The
dates.
dates. Well, I got
Sold too
some,
many of them,
most
huh?
of them I put on with a cup of water and bring it to a boil and then add just a pinch of soda. The details.
Oh, boy, she's really getting, really keeping that.
I even forgot what I was saying.
Hey, did you notice how quiet it got once? Just like the little kids.
Found out we were on family list.
Oh, yeah,
Just
yeah.
as bad as the kids.
Where was that?
Oh, he was driving down there to Nebraska, you know, and I was sleeping, see?
That's when they went to
And
court,
he
Twila.
come- It was at night, you know, and the light hit that big sign there, and
14.
Yeah.
it says Beaver with a big X on it, an ING, you know? And yeah, Beaver Crossing, see? And Tom says, well, here's where we turn off, and I woke up and said, Beaver Xing. I said, what's that? He said crossing. I felt like 2 cents for the donkey. He laughed at me for
Where were you?
I was sleeping
I
in the
don't
car.
remember Beaver. Where's Beaver Crossing? That was before me. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, that was BT.
BT.
Yeah.
Before Twilight.
BFD.
Oh. Well, where did we go? There. Who was it that lived there?
Twilight was from Nebraska.
Oh, yeah.
Elsie.
Oh, yeah.
Elsie was a nurse. She's up in Alaska now.
Oh, is that right?
Spinard
on TV.
Yeah, Spinard, Alaska.
Oh, we darn.
Yeah, she married a fellow up there. They go back into the woods, you know, back to their cabin, and, you know, out in the wilderness. And they fly in and fly out.
Boy, I was
Talk
really
about all
reluctant
the
to get away
caribou
that.
and the
But you're going more than
You've got one of your own, Annie.
moose.
You've got your own book, Annie.
Prince Green and Tammy Reed.
Annie,
You'll have to go to the
you've got
library
your own
and
book
get it.
right there, okay?
Whoa!
I really knew you'd get it.
It won't grab off over there.
Yeah, I really wanted to read
Oh.
that.
Yeah,
In
I
fact,
think
I
it's
hadn't even
bedtime.
considered paying the
Put
full
these colors
price for
away.
that book. you
Annie?
know, 'cause I wanted to.
Come on,
And
let's
I
put these
got it
colors
for
away.
free with
Yeah,
when I
I
joined
think
this
so.
other book club.
You were up awful late. You were up late last night, and if you're gonna start fighting over.
Hey, are you going to bed?
No,
Huh? Night night.
go to bed.
Got no time for
Well,
such
good night,
kind of
Eddie.
talk.
Good night. Bye now.
Say good night.
Bye now.
Good night, Eddie.
No more
Good
coming.
night.
Good night.
I don't imagine he'll be awake when we go in the morning.
They might be. Well, there
You
comes
can
some
go in
water
there
in
and-
here.
Of course, that room is an awful mess.
If you could find your way through it, you'd be lucky. It's full of beds.
Better not to disturb them, I think.
Oh.
Yeah, Tom.
It's about like, when the
Tom and I used to drive it.
the kids were all there, you know, at Christmas time, Blanche and Earl come by, so we
in
get in the
the
bedroom.
summer,
So Rusty
and
moved out to the
leave there in
camper,
the
you
fall,
know,
come
out
out
to
here
the
again,
truck.
you know.
And those
Yeah,
kids
him
were
and
all
I
there
used to make
staying
that, I
overnight.
guess once a minute.
Where did you put them
Boy,
on?
with a house full.
Well, they were all sleeping all over the floor and everywhere.
Oh, we
So
went up
Liz
there,
gets up in the middle
my
of the night,
dad
she's
had
outside with
they had
Rusty
a farm there, and I used
in
to
the
go up there
van.
and,
And she hammers on the window, she's
yeah,
gonna come in
and
the
I'd
doors
help
were
him
all
get the
locked.
crop started, and then
She
do
was
some
gonna
of
come
him
in
and
and see how
I
the kids were.
do plastering work
They
all
got
around
scared and they wouldn't let her in.
Oh,
And then
terrible.
I'd help my dad get things, the crop stuff in, and him and
She
I
hammered on the window
all
for a
around
while,
here
they
to get
went
a
back
crop
to bed.
someplace.
I gave up.
Someplace, you know. And,
Oh,
we
they
did that
laughed
for
about it the next day.
quite a
It'd have been too bad if she had to go to the bathroom.
She felt like she had to go to the bush.
Oh dear. Well, let me tell you, this has been a full house. I bought 2 camp cots for Ronnie and Michael to set them up in hear you. And you know, we all heard funny noises the first night the kids were sleeping in those cots. And I'm sure now that it was just the kids turning over in those cots and the cots creaking. Yeah. We put 2 of them together and then made it up like a double bed to save on the blankets, you know, because I only had so many blankets.
It was
You were going in the
we
car?
brought Julie's favorite blanket.
Well, and I went down and bought 4 new ones, you know, on top of all that I had.
Oh, that was
There's
just.
a long. There's sleeping bags.
Yeah.
That's a Derek right there.
Yeah, I'm
right
sure
there
Ronnie
is
and
a
Michael would have loved, you know.
Yeah.
But you know, and they probably have sleeping bags, but they came on the plane, you know, and there was just a limit as to how much stuff they could drag
We
with them.
started out getting
And
more
then
little
Janet
kids'
and Herb
sleeping
came
bags.
on
I
the
don't know
train, and
somewhere along the line.
Yeah.
well, they make such cute ones, you
Boy,
know,
the
and
geese don't
colorful patterns and
talk
stuff.
like that anymore, do
You
they?
know, you can unzip them. They're such good blankets.
Yeah.
Oh,
See, that
really?
makes a nice gift, really, you know.
You were going to lend us a couple blankets, but you forgot all about it.
2 or 3 years ago.
Oh, I really don't know where they are.
Well, that's.
Big, Kay, big.
I've just been hoping that everybody was warm.
Oh, Susan's got
That's his son.
my
Bill.
gold blanket,
Next morning,
and that was the only other good one I had.
there's only 5 geese down
I thought you
And
had
then I had a couple of thin ones that I had. Well, they were all wedding presents, but the gold blanket was the best one out.
But the quilted coverlet that you lent us last Christmas,
That must be up in Charleston.
no, it isn't. I took
It's
everything
not
home
down at
from.
my house.
I took everything home from Mount Charleston.
Where they're all going.
It's not at my house.
Yeah, you got it there somewhere.
Oh, well, I think we all have it one way or another.
When they came,
I
I
really
put
made-
one
I was
blanket on
just
your bed
lucky
first
that I
and
brought
then
Julie's.
now they got 3.
Yeah.
You know, they just, they just sleep really cold.
I've got 2 blankets on each bed, but I'm not sure that's enough. That and a bedspread, you know.
Tom and I just have one.
Yeah, you know, we really could
He
show
says he's cold around the time, but.
Will you go?
That time
He said he another blanket.
Well, Ted is, got real poor circulation or something because his blood pressure is so low, and he has to have 3 blankets this winter. First time he's ever
Next
used
year,
that
the
much.
grade wasn't enough.
He used to be hot-blooded, you know.
Bad year.
His just circulation isn't what it should be.
I,
Yeah, he demanded another blanket, and now he has 3 blankets.
that was the year I come to North
Electric blanket.
Well, about 36,
Wilbur and I come over there, and I took Wilbur there. and they come
Oh,
over.
yeah, that was about 36.
So, but you know, and I listen,
Yeah.
I usually wake up during the night, and everybody else is sleeping sounder and along. I figure if they were cold, you know, they'd be restless. Even the little kids, you know, like Annie and Julie sleep right straight through. I'll wake up.
And, of course with us, I keep the bedroom door closed and I open the window. You know,
Yeah, I always have my window open like that, and we shut the heater off at night.
So just sleep.
I can't sleep warm.
I can't sleep next to the sheet, you know.
$3
Nor can I sleep with the window shut. I gotta have air moving past my nose.
Circulation.
Oh,
Tom shut my window the other day though.
yeah.
The brain gets
Nice.
Oh, I have to do that on the slide too.
Yeah, we so we did buy.
Oh yeah, I wait till he's asleep, and then I check it to be sure it's
Pull the
open.
drapes on the ground so they can't see you.
A lot of geese.
And actually, that's what Ted needs is oxygen
Actually, I
too,
have
so
two beds.
whether he
Well,
knows it or
I quit
not,
shotgun
he's gonna
shooting.
get
I
it.
quit See, that was about in the fall of about 1937 or 38.
But I've always been that way. I gotta have the windows open here and there.
There's some big
So
fires
it's circulating.
in the peat bog, you remember?
And I was
Turned out to
even
be
more
those-
so when I
Up by Solly's Ranch, up on the Sand Ridge, there was,
Well, you need air more then than you do.
10 acres that burned out, and there was about this much water in it.
And I figure,
Yeah.
I think your house is warmer too if you got fresh air circulating, you know, and then you have your heat going,
snowing and it.
They say that you
Up in that big bottle up there, he says, I'll take you up there.
You got more dust to clean up eventually, but nevertheless.
You ought to have. I guess you didn't really get the practice that Sharon and I got. I guess I
Maybe it'll snow again like it did last New Year's Eve. Remember that?
Yeah.
It went home 3 o'clock in the morning and it was snowing so pretty.
Keep up my own
She doesn't appreciate that.
No.
But anyway, I said, okay.
I think I missed it if we didn't have
Oh, I
any.
bet you
And I
would.
had the gun.
But we've had a real nice winter so far.
Have you?
So
We
I
got
loaded
about
that
an
thing
inch
up with
or
5 in the
a
chamber
little
and
better
1 in
than
the
that,
barrel,
just the
you
week
know,
before Christmas.
or
And that's the
5 in
first
the
we had.
magazine. And
Did you get
I
good
waved out there and
blueberries
there's some
this
big old
I
tamarack
wasn't
stumps
able to
that
do
a
any
tree
berry
that
picking.
blew over, you know, and the
I
roots were
didn't even
sticking up there 20
Pick
feet
the
high, you know.
cherries right outside the
So I
cabin.
climbed up in them roots, you know, and
I wasn't able to. I
Skim ice
didn't
on
feel
the-
good enough.
on the pond in the fall, you know. And
So
so I
That's
waved
my
out there, you
apricot
know,
orchard.
and
I don't know.
you could hear
Well, we
the
didn't give them away.
this
truck
wasn't my
was
year.
and making a little
Bill
noise
Irv.
and walking
Steady
Somebody will catch you.
Acrobatic action there.
He told me to go out
Oh
and get up
dear.
there, big
You
old
mean you
weed
didn't
ball.
get to make any preserves or anything?
I did.
Boy, I had this
Huh?
good
But I didn't get to it. I just didn't.
Do you want some? Because I did make some with what you said, what Ted got from
I
you.
still got some in the
Climbed up in there and I'd
I
sit
have
there
too.
and freeze, you know,
Apricots.
and
You made apricot pineapple. Yeah.
I don't go blueberry picking anyway,
Pretty
Janet.
quick,
I
after
don't
a
want to
while,
get
I
into the poison ivy.
just started getting
Yeah,
pretty
that's
quick,
what I
a
was-
little bit
well, it's
on
right-
and on.
Right outside
Boy,
there, right
I'm
down
telling
the
you that.
hill.
Yeah, but there aren't
Water
enough.
was just
There aren't enough in
blank
our
with
lots.
stuff, you know what I mean?
to
It was
do
just
anything with.
covered
You have
with
to
it.
go into the woods.
And
Oh.
so it kept getting a little lighter, it wasn't even light, you know, it just dark like.
We
but
had-
it
I couldn't have done it
like
anyway.
that,
We had
didn't
fresh
it?
blueberries 2 years ago,
So
you
when
know,
I'm
when we
told
were
that,
at
well,
home.
boy, I'm
They
gonna let
grow
him have
pretty
it, I'm just
easy.
gonna.
Yeah, well, they
I'm
got
just-
them at that
I'm tired
time,
of sitting
Margie's
here and-
son-in-law Bob, the
And they're just
Carriers,
thick out there, boy.
they had
I don't know,
they
I
had
shoot,
the
they
island
were
across
raised
the lake,
out,
you
all
know,
just
blueberries
mown
growing on
down.
it, so he would
So I-
bring fresh blueberries
I,
to Margie, because Chris
got
was visiting
good
his daughter
position,
here.
you know,
And he would keep them supplied with fresh blueberries, and they had a real good time that Sunday we were all
Man,
there.
I let
Fresh
one
blueberry
go and they
pie,
raised, man, I just pumped
fresh
that thing and
blueberries
I
with ice
just
cream.
shot all 6
vanilla
shots, you
ice
know. It was too damn dark to see yet there's anything on the water, you know. And
Great big plastic
so
And then Woody and Ann Norland go up there now and spend every summer.
And
And she cans blueberries. They got one of these metal canners, you know,
Got light enough.
where they,
I was gonna wait out there.
no, they've got a regular canning machine. So they can them in cans, yeah.
Enough to walk out there. And,
So, they are really out in the boondocks.
I found,
on their old
I
farm.
got 2 ducks out of that old damn work.
They got a trailer house out there, and they have a garden, and they just go up there and spend the summer. They have now for the
I
last
waited
several
to show
years.
with them and I built a fire out there.
And of course, while they're there, they're canning blueberries. They gave us half a
after
dozen
daylight,
cans
Paul came up
last
there
fall.
and got me in the car about 3-4 miles from our
delicious.
farm. And he says,
Well, I didn't
how'd
get
you
a
do?
single
Did you get a lot of
blueberry.
ducks? I said, yeah.
We've got some,
I told two of them
She's
over
got
there
some,
that
she'll get
started-
I've got some that Woody and Ann Norland canned back there.
Last time I'll ever hunt ducks again
And they
in my
gave us a
life.
gift of a few cans
Never fired a duck yet.
last year, and I've been trying to
I said,
save,
"Boy,
you
that-
know, just hang on to
That
them.
hunting ducks, somebody else
We
could
could
do
make
that,
a
not
blueberry
me.
pie or
Yes, we
something
could.
like that.
He
Yeah,
said,
we
well, God, he
could.
said, you should have got a bunch of them. He said,
When we make a batch of pie crust,
truckload of them.
we were gonna bake pies for New Year's, weren't we?
You got tomorrow.
Tomorrow's New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta
We were
get
gonna
Jean
go over
to
and see
grind
Russ
up.
and Mary and say hello to them
Tonight?
too. Yeah.
Here
Gary called this morning.
Yeah, she
Who's
called me.
coming?
She called me too.
Who's coming home?
We were gonna go over and see Russ and Mary and tell
Oh,
them
yeah, oh,
Happy
they'd
New
be up
Year.
at 2 o'clock this
Oh,
morning.
yeah, right.
Why would they
But
be
I
up till
can't
2
stay up that
o'clock?
late, so I better get over there.
Well, do like our trimmer does. He gets over there and he visits a while and pretty
Goes to
quick,
That's
like,
sweet.
he leans back there and he
Oh,
talking
dear.
and pretty quick he's sleeping, so Russ and Mary goes to bed. He's there in the morning yet.
Oh, no.
between him and Dorcas, honestly.
Because I've seen Dorcas do that.
Dorcas lays down on the floor and just plain goes to sleep no matter.
How do they get so tired out?
Oh dear.
I think it's a habit. Going to sleep in the evening.
It has to be. It has to
Because
be.
George's done it for years.
Yeah. But I thought that was the top.
But
Last,
you come over
remember when
to
we were all over
Rusty's
at your place after Christmas last year?
And
We were watching their color TV. What the heck was it? Some special program? Anyway, Dorcas, the lights were off and just the TV on, you know. We were sitting there having drinks and eating popcorn. So Dorcas laid right down on the floor in the middle of the room and went sound asleep, and she slept for the whole day.
Oh dear.
And he never woke up.
I know she works.
You ought to explain that Dorcas is your age, you know.
She's been doing this for years, though. You know.
For as long as I can remember.
Yeah, I can remember at least one New Year's Eve party where she sat there and just
plain slept
Yeah,
the
but
whole
she
thing.
was the only one that
and it wasn't
me
because she
dancing
drank
last
so
time
much
we was out
either.
there.
It's just she.
Did I quit on you?
Oh.
Yeah, you quit.
Oh,
Except her, you know. And I said, well, let's dance.
Well, Art won't
So she
dance.
says,
She's got to
okay.
dance when she
And
can.
we're dancing around. She's almost sleeping, you know. And wake up, Dork. Dancing around, you know. Pretty quick while she went and sat down. Boy, I had just can't dance no more. It's already 4 o'clock in the morning.
I don't know why she would be tired.
Yeah, well, we used to have them dancing, you know, every New Year's night, you know, and
we gotta close in there.
boy, I wore out everybody that was there, you know.
I thought we'd be
Yeah,
out. I thought we'd be out of this old place years ago and have a place built with a room for dancing.
You know, I always said if I build a big living room on, it was going to have one of these, you know, where you could roll up the carpet.
Yeah, right. A removable carpet. You better believe it.
Well, Pappy,
Got my hat on.
have you seen the hat Mary Lou gave you?
Yeah, I've been sitting here looking at it.
Hello, Izzy. Where you been? That's the best damn thing, Dad. Get it all.
See, that's a dandy. Where did she get something like that?
I saw you say.
Kmart.
I don't
Little
know.
Maybe I'll find out.
Why don't you get one for him for a birthday present?
It is warm, ain't it?
That's what he needs for a birthday present.
Say that.
Keep his balls
Well, you know, Mark was wondering.
Kay, it was last year I was looking for fur hats, like, you know, I was thinking of getting him one then last year, and I couldn't find them anywhere.
Say, while you're over there,
Take it
why,
easy.
you know, Mark.
Yeah, I have been, but I'm getting darn tired of it.
Yeah, show Mark that hat. Tell him that's the hat to get his dad. Where did they get that? This time?
Well, maybe we'll see you tomorrow night. We'll see how it goes. And we'll call you.
Good seeing you again.
Good night, you two.
Good night. We got one of those little sprites in here again. And there's number 2. Right there.
Oh, pull your pants up. Hey,
Now,
who are these
now
girls?
she's singing Rudolph. Aren't you?
What was that?
Oh, yeah.
That's all. And here I am with
Hey, turn the lights on. Yoo-hoo. Janet.
Turn the Christmas lights on.
Janet, turn the outside lights on.
All of the other reindeer.
Out there in the hall.
That was so much for that one.
Well, we got a little bit of it.
Yeah.